This episode is brought to you by Trident Coffee, the veteran-owned brand where every sip inspires you to live life full steam ahead. I've been drinking their coffees for a while now, and I'm glad to partner with a company whose products I use. At Trident, they're more than just coffee. They're storytellers. Crafted by veterans, their instant cold brew is perfect for those who serve, those who have served, and anyone who values wellness. Featuring natural ingredients like organic mushrooms, adaptogens, and nootropics, it's more than just a morning pick-me-up. It's your new wellness ritual. Enjoy it at home or on the go, wherever your day takes you. Trident Coffee isn't just about great-tasting coffee. It's about empowering you to be the healthiest version of yourself, because great veterans make great citizens. Try their instant cold brew today, along with many other coffee products, and taste the freedom of wellness. Remember, when you choose Trident, you're not just choosing coffee. You're choosing a path of connection through health and wellness. Head on over to tridentcoffee.com and use the promo code TDP15 for 15% off your order. Again, that's TDP15 for 15% off your order. So this episode's a little different. There's no individual tip for each group. It's more one for all of us. So let's get into round 26 of the tactical transition tips. This time, there's only a tip for all of us. It is honor their memory.
You transition out is try to model all of the good things, the discipline, the structure, that little bit of rigidity into your everyday life. And I think that that's a great way to make that transition happen, man.
Take the time to invest in yourself because it means everything. You know? That's what the difference is. The difference is not just to collect a check. It's to live 25 years, 30, 40 years after you retire and pay it forward that way.
With this being the last episode of June, I've had some recent conversations. And the theme of those conversations has pretty much been the same thing. And it's about the loss of friends and loved ones. June is always a difficult month for me. June represents the loss of a very good friend and a fellow coworker. Now 29 years since he passed. We also recently celebrated the 80th anniversary of D-Day. Quite a few veterans recreated the jumps into Normandy. But each of us struggles with the loss of our friends, the loss of loved ones, the loss of those friends that were more like family. I believe that we all kind of share a similar DNA, and I would imagine that each of those lost loved ones and friends probably would feel the same way when I say that they would want us to move forward and to continue living our life to the fullest, being the best that we could be, constantly moving forward, not kind of stuck in a loop of remembrance. I would say that all of them want us to go out, live our lives, and live it in a way that honors not only their life, but their memory and their legacy. Could you imagine? We all have those friends. We get to that point, whatever you believe, religion, spirituality, whatever it is, where we meet them again and we get to talk to them and share with them. I would imagine that if we don't honor their memory through the way we live our life, they would be the first ones to bust our chops and really kind of give us a hard time that we allowed ourselves to kind of wallow in sadness. Not saying don't be sad, but just kind of riding that sadness. Survivor's guilt is real, and there's no reason to not acknowledge it. It's okay to feel the sadness of their loss, but we can't let it consume us. I would say that if you're struggling go talk to somebody. I would defer to somebody who has an expertise, somebody who's experienced in dealing with these matters. But if the starting point is just reaching out to another friend, another coworker, somebody who's not a professional, then do that. Do something that allows somebody else to be there for you. Don't fight this battle. Don't go through this experience, this sadness by yourself. We need other people around us. We need the support of others. So if you're struggling, talk to somebody, get some help. Like I said, I would defer to somebody who's a professional who understands this from a educated standpoint. But if you need to, start somewhere and start with anybody who you feel close to. I would imagine that they will not have a problem being there for you. Now for us and the way we live each day, it might sound cliched. It might be, a bit overplayed, but strive for excellence. Strive to make yourself the best version of yourself each day, and make that challenge, make that goal, make that aspiration of being the best that you can be an honor to their legacy, an honor to the memories and the friendship and the love that they gave to you. Being your best is both mentally and physically. Get in the gym, especially if that person that you're grieving was very into fitness, then honor them by pushing yourself to be the best you can be. But equally important, that Rubik's Cube that's between our ears that we might not always have the answer for on how to solve that solution, seek help to get that portion of you the best you can be. And make being the best that you can be almost your business calling card, and how you can motivate and inspire others by the way you live your life. Because there are other people who are looking at you who might be struggling also. So be that beacon to kind of pull them out of their darkness. Be supportive of others that are in your life. If you know of somebody who's struggling, if you're seeing changes in their behavior, if you're experiencing their drop-off, don't wait for them necessarily to ask for help. Extend that hand. Be intrusive into their life to the point of, I'm here for you. How can I help you? And then be willing to follow up with that. If that means regularly making that phone call, if that means going out of your way, hey, let's go grab a cup of coffee, or whatever it is, follow up genuinely and be there for them. It's one thing to ask and say, hey, are you doing okay? What can I do for you? It's another thing to follow through with it. And many times, we all know this, our ego is the worst thing to have. And if that person is in that dark space, the last thing that they're probably thinking is, well, I don't want to burden, or that what they're probably thinking is, I don't want to burden somebody else by bringing my problems to them. And so that may block them from reaching out. If you're seeing something in a loved one, in a friend, be that person who steps across that bridge first and make them understand, I'm here for you. What can I do for you? For us, as it relates to transitioning and moving forward, we always have to be looking for our new mission, our new purpose. You might be several years from your transition, but part of getting prepared for it is working on getting to be the best you that you can. That means finding that mission to get through your grief and figuring out how you can not make it go away, but how can you process it? How can you deal with it? And in turn, how can you be a mentor to help other people deal with what they're struggling with? If you are at your transition point, there is going to be that change. There is going to be that aspect of the old you, the old groups, the old teammates, the old coworkers, whatever you want to refer to it as. There's going to be that step that you're going to make in your transition that not everybody back there is going to move forward with you. Be okay with that. That's life. That's the nature of the beast. We've all seen it through our careers. The people who retire, the people who move on to other jobs, the people who move on with other careers, even though we say, hey, we're going to stay in touch, for the most part, we end up losing touch. Understand that and embrace it. Do everything that you can to stay in contact with those who you were a former with, but understand it's about moving forward, finding your new mission, finding your new tribe. If you can put that tribe in place before you get to your transition, all the better, because then that transition's a little bit smoother because you already have that support system. But look for those people who are going to be supportive of you, who are going to not necessarily directly understand what you might be grieving, but at least they're supportive of you in understanding that grieving is a natural process, as opposed to, oh, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. You know, why are you worrying about that? Or something to that negative aspect. Be mindful of the people that you have around you and what type of energy do they bring to you. Are they bringing a positive energy or are they bringing a negative energy? And maybe you might need to reevaluate your tribe, your group of who you feel comfortable with, because part of this grieving process, part of this getting past those that we've lost includes the support of the people that are around us. This comes back to my don't struggle alone. Every one of us has experienced some sort of loss. Don't compare your loss to anybody else because it's your loss. It affects you for yourself, not comparing yourself to your friend and how they seem to be handling it. If you're struggling with it, first thing you do is admit that to yourself. Then put your ego aside and say, I need to reach out a hand and I need to ask for help. Asking for help does not mean you're a failure or that you're weak or that you're less than anything. It just means that you're human, and grieving those that we've lost is a normal process. But you have to get past it and you have to move on with your life because, like I said, they would never want us to stay stagnated in this grief process. They would want us to move on also. We do things in these careers as teams. There's not a single aspect of our job that we do as a single, as a solo, unless something has gone drastically wrong. Don't go through this process alone. Struggle is real, grief is real, but there are people who are professionally able to help you, but also put people around you. And I almost use the word insulate yourself, but I don't want you to insulate yourself from the rest of the world, but put that buffer around you of positive people who understand that maybe each step moving forward might be difficult, but they're going to be there for you. And they're not going to let you step backwards. They're going to, if anything, all right, get your footing and then move on to the next step. Put your ego aside. Check that damn ego. We get so wrapped up in our heads of not wanting to be perceived as weak or that we can't handle our stuff. No, it's okay to say, you know what? I'm not doing okay and I need to get some help. I need to talk to somebody. I need your help. Be okay with that. Have those people around you who are going to encourage that type of behavior. This is a shorter episode, so in closing, the courage and commitment that we've shown in these careers, utilize that in your process of moving forward. Find your next mission. Make being the best that you can be yourself not only an honor to their legacy, but also that guiding light to anybody who's around you, who's looking at you for guidance. Even if you don't realize it, you're helping somebody because they're pivoting off of you. So if you present a positive or at least a working aspect of, I'm trying to improve myself, you inadvertently are going to inspire and motivate others. Support one another. Be steadfast in the team aspect. If you know somebody who's struggling, be that one to step first and say, how can I help you? And mean it. And be there for them if they do reach out, be there for them. Do everything you can to always be available for them. I've said this several times already. Strive to be the best you can be, both physically and mentally. Whatever it takes to be the best you. Not comparing yourself to anybody else. Compare who you were yesterday to today. Are you making small incremental changes that make you better? If it means going to a professional to address the space between our ears, then do it. Build your future in a manner that those who you've lost would say what you're doing is honoring them, that you are cherishing the legacy of their memory by being positive, by moving forward and not being stuck in this loop of, well, it should have been me, or it could have been me, or why was it them? Yes, that is a real thing, but you've got to figure out a way to move past that. However you need to do it. Each of us is different. I can't give you that magic recipe for what's going to work, but you need to work on it yourself and not just stay where you're at. Grief is a legitimate thing. Move through it, but again, keep moving forward. As always, I appreciate you taking the time to listen or watch this. If you could, please share the podcast. Please follow the podcast. Please leave me a rating. All of those things not only help the podcast grow, but it helps me to get in front of more eyes to keep growing my audience. And with that, I'll catch you on the next one.